Value is the delta of reward minus cost. Okay, so that will determine your value. Reward is the medial part of the orbital frontal cortex. Generally speaking, these are just generally speaking. It's all about neurocorrelates, not necessarily the region. But this region, these regions, this is like a main function of them. So the medial orbital frontal cortex, which is sometimes called part of the medial prefrontal cortex, okay? And then the insula. I'm not going to say too much about that because the insula, we've covered it. And if you want to know more about the insula, there's many episodes about it. So these would kind of determine the value of this ventral medial prefrontal cortex, okay? In rodent models, a lot of good research on rodents, of course, or mice, infralimbic. You can see it as infralimbic. Okay, they have slightly different brain regions. And then we got to the control, okay, the anterior cingulate cortex. This is also pretty typically discussed in the podcast. It's a very powerful region. And kind of it's conflict monitoring risk reward, error detection. If you're making errors, how much control do you need over the environment? How much control do you need as a person, as a living organism, to accomplish that task, to get what you're trying to accomplish? Or do what you have to do. I'm going to tell you, you don't like uncertainty. So whenever you have uncertainty, the ACC is kind of working in overdrive. And what we're going to talk about today is going to be heavily involved here, okay? And then all of that kind of leads up to the policy because you're going to do what you do. This carries out the action in the dorsal striatum. Remember, from the basal ganglia episodes, motivation lives here, and you don't define motivation. Everything mapping out to the dorsal striatum, all those inputs that's coming in with these states and values and the neuromodulators, which is mostly episode 2, is going to determine what the dorsal striatum does. If you want to or not, it doesn't matter. If it's healthy or unhealthy, it doesn't matter. Whatever the inputs coming into the dorsal striatum is what you're going to do. Remember, it's the input systems to the basal ganglia, okay? The go, no-go areas. Okay, so we kind of built up this policy and determining this is what you do. Some big takeaways here is when value with that reward minus cost, reward is higher, you're going to repeat that task. This is something that you're going to want to repeat. The brain will want to repeat that, whether you want to or not. If the cost is high, you're going to want to avoid that. Remember, because this is kind of the equation of life. How do you maximize net benefits? That's what the brain is trying to do, maximize net benefits and value while minimizing uncertainty, because uncertainty is costly. Metabolic bank accountant, remember. How much energy and effort am I going to have to do to fulfill this task, to complete this task? And this is where thoughts get powerful. You can just control your life over thoughts. I don't want to do that. I don't have the energy. I can't. And it's also so what this is trying to do with the maximizing benefits and value and minimizing uncertainty is to minimize the metabolic cost. We're trying to minimize metabolic cost. That way the brain can satisfy its main goal, is to conserve and allocate energy properly so that the living organism can survive.